Okay, so welcome to second part of long-term memory. We're going to be looking at the AO3 parts here. So, end of this knowledge, be able to apply, evaluate. You'll understand what we mean by neuroimaging, and a couple of real-life situations. Okay, this is all AO3, analysing and evaluating. Okay, the first one is clinical evidence, what we call case studies. Okay, we've got Henry Mollison and Clive Waring. Now, we might have watched in the lesson a short clip about Clive Waring. He's an older man that gets a disease that stops his memory working properly, and he can still play the piano, he still knows his wife's name, but he massively struggles to, well, he can't remember anything new, and he's constantly living in a 7-second part of life. So how we use this here to provide evidence is that it shows that there's different types of long-term memory. So he could remember certain things and not others. And this shows that his episodic memory was severely impaired, but his semantic memory remained pretty much relatively unaffected. So you may have used this in your multi-store model evaluation, or even your working memory model evaluation, to show that there are different stores. But in this case, it's showing that there's also different long-term memory stores. So it agrees with the idea that there are different stores of long-term memory, not just one block. Here's some more examples. That they forgot they were stroking a dog, they didn't know what a dog was, but they did understand what a dog is. So it shows that some memories were intact and others weren't. Their procedural memories were both intact. They knew how to tie their shoelaces, how to play the piano. It, like I said, supports the view of lots of different types of long-term memory. Just to go on to this, the problems with clinical evidence. So if you're writing this as an essay, you could write this paragraph straight after and just say, however, clinical evidence does have problems. Psychologists are extremely interested in brain injury, as if the part of the brain injured stops a certain behaviour occurring, and we can predict that this part of the brain is responsible for that behaviour. Clinical studies are not perfect. They lack control. They don't allow or they don't control extraneous variables. So every case study is completely different. People have eaten something different, they've got a different life, so it's very hard to generalise to the wider population. Okay, neuroimaging evidence. So these are PET scans, MRIs. Hopefully, if you have never seen a PET scan or MRI, what they look like, go on the internet quickly now, but it's basically like a kind of computer screen of a brain. I think there's one in the next slide when we get to it, but brain scan studies have shown that different types of memory are stored in different areas of the brain. So as they are scanning the brain, they'll get somebody to look at or think about something else, or they might think about something procedural or episodic or semantic, and it would actually light up different parts of the brain. Tolving et al. 1994 got the participants to perform various memory tasks while their brains were scanned in a PET scanner. They found that episodic and semantic memories were recalled showed activity in the prefrontal cortex, so that's the bit right at the front of the brain here, and you can see in the scan. It's divided into two parts, one on each side of the brain. The left frontal cortex was involved in recalling semantic memory, the right side in episodic. So it was clearly showing that there were different parts of the brain lighting up depending on what type of memory they were using. So this provides evidence for the existence of different types of long-term memory. Okay, real-life applications. Identifying different types of long-term memory allows psychologists to help people in their everyday lives. Belleville et al. 2006 suggested that episodic memories could be improved in older people who had mild cognitive impairment. So whenever we talk about a real-life application, it's as simple as that. Has the evidence that they've been found, has any of the information they've been found been used by somebody to make, in hospitals or by governments to actually change the way they think? And if there is that, then you can call it a real-life application. So in this case, somebody's used it to improve older people's cognitive impairment. Those with mild cognitive impairments tend to struggle with episodic memories. Therefore, it's good to distinguish between these types of LTM to aid people with treatments or behavioural techniques. So it's not saying let's just improve your long-term memory, it's saying actually we can help improve this particular smaller part of long-term memory. A negative here, Cohen and Squire, they disagree with the idea that there are 3 types of long-term memory, and they believe that there's only 2. They agree that procedural memory is one division, but not episodic or semantics. They put those 2 together, and they prefer to divide these 2 divisions into 2 different ones. They are declarative memory, memories that can be consciously recalled, and non-declarative memories, procedural memories. So basically you can finish with the negative that somebody disagrees that there is 3, they say there's still 2. It's still saying that long-term memory is more than just a box, like multi-store model, but it maybe isn't split into 3. Okay, that's it. Laters.